Hey everybody, it's me and Spawn with another episode of Vodcast in the Morgue, where this week we are talking the Halloween film franchise. Uh, Spawn and I have been waiting for this one because this will surely be a banger because this is 12 films and there will definitely be some, I know for me, some controversial picks on my side, and I feel like Spawn's got some as well. Uh, and full transparency, we don't know each other's picks, so this is going to be a shock for us as well. All right, well, Spawn, I will let you go first with the 1978 original banger and where you would rank that.
I don't think this is going to be much of a shock, really. This is number one for me. The original's still not been beaten.
That's
Though
that's fair.
Michael Myers here, Nick Castle, though his whole direction was just walk. Have you seen the documentary where they're just like, oh, just walk? And he's just walking and it looks spooky as hell.
Yep.
And you obviously know the history with the masks and everything. So for me, it's simple. Simple works better than complicated, in my opinion, sometimes. And it's still had been beaten, in my opinion. I like the whole stalk element here, and he just movements not human like. It's just so he uses his shadows in this film, and I don't think it's ever put the spookiness of Michael Myers in this first one than the rest of the films. So for me, this one's the still number one to me. It's amazing that it's still been beat.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with a lot of things. I agree with a lot of things you say there. It really is like Michael. It really. I mean, obviously, Texas Chainsaw Massacre came before Halloween, but I think Halloween really uh cultivated the slasher horror genre into what it became. I mean, sure, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was around, but Sean Cunningham got inspired to create Friday the 13th based off Halloween. And then, then Wes Craven tried to up it up with Nightmare on Elm Street. And I think this leads the charge. And it's also number one for me as well, which is obviously a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But with Donald Pleasance, the mother of all scream queens, Jamie Lee Curtis, who during this time was making a ton of horror movies. You got The Fog, Terror Train, Halloween, PJ Souls, Nick Castle. Um, Also has Tony Moran as Michael Myers for a minute. I'm not. I don't like Tony as a person, so I don't like to acknowledge that a whole lot. Um, with Donald Pleasance, I mean, Donald Pleasance as Sam Loomis is probably as much as Michael is scary and like hides in the shadows. Like Doctor Loomis is like the opposite. Like he's very in your face, direct, and mission driven as far as finding Michael. I think they balance each other great.
I fully agree with that. I think I don't think Halloween would be what it was without Donald. I really don't think. I think you needed the balance of Myers and Donald there. So I really don't think it'd have worked without him. Even having Laurie there.
Yeah,
You feel better, but I definitely feel that way. I think it's his lines that he comes out with at Michael Myers that just makes it like he makes Michael Myers even less human, just the way he talks about him.
yeah. I mean, he really does like Michael justification because obviously Michael can't speak for himself, and Doctor Loomis, I think, really illustrates like Michael is evil incarnate and the kind of destructive force that he is. Um, and, there's other things I love about the movie too. Like I love the camaraderie between, um, uh, oh shit, Lori, Annie, and uh, was it Lydia, PJ Souls' character? Like I mean, like you could tell like they were like you feel like they were friends on set. You feel like they were friends like in the movie. Like you felt their pain when she discovered that spoiler, they were all dead. So, um,
Yeah.
I mean, I think everything just gels together perfectly.
It's one of them perfect horror films, in my opinion. I think, you know, when you hear of John Carpenter, it's either The Thing or Halloween.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what people go for, and for me, Halloween is the perfect movie as well. I think, like I say, the plot is so simple, and yet how great was it as well for John Carpenter to get yeah, I can't remember a woman's name, but the girl from Psycho, and then he goes and gets a daughter.
Janet Leigh, right?
Yeah, because Jamie Lee done. I'm sure you've seen that picture in one of the later films when there's advertising it, and they had her in the shower as well. And it's
Oh,
the Psycho, which was really cool when they got her to do that in one of the later films that we'll
yeah,
talk about later.
yeah, yep. I know
Yeah,
what
the
you're.
screenshots was pretty cool.
They're man, I know we're getting ready to talk about these movies, but oh man, I feel really bad for some of these people that I'm going to be talking about here shortly. uh, all right. So Halloween. Do you have anything you want to add to Halloween there?
Just that I think, I've said it before. I think this is still, in my opinion, even though I prefer my killers more brutal. I think this is still the best version of Michael Myers. Nick Castle hit it spot on with the way he stalks and uses the shadows. Like, it's still one of my favourite scenes in the whole of every horror film and Halloween as well. The best shot ever is where Laurie Strode in, and you just see Myers' mask in the back like light up. That shot is one of the best scenes in horror, in my opinion.
I am. It's the little things with that movie, like when he's kind of like stand up. Oh God, I'm hearing myself. Um, like where he steps out from the bushes and then like steps back in. Um, and like where he's standing up like out the window and she's like sees him and then like he's gone. It's just those little like nuances that really that really for me drive the movie.
I agree with you. I agree. I think it's amazing, and it's that one shot as well. Just that one shot just creates the essence of Michael Myers, like I say, where Laurie's scared, Myers' mask just appears in the backlight. I absolutely adore that scene. It's one of my favourite scenes of Lee.
Yeah, and I mean it is almost as far as horror movies goes, like you said, a perfect horror movie. I think, which is
100%.
which is funny because like it's not even one of my favorite horror movies, but I can acknowledge that even though like if I were to rank Halloween and a bunch of horror movies, like it would be a little bit down the list. I can still acknowledge the fact that it is a masterpiece. You know, cinematically speaking, like it's just delivers everything. All right, before we get to number two, since Forney says my favorite Halloween treat comes in a life-size British man. That's fair. That's fair. That is fair. All right, so I guess I'll go next with Halloween 2. So we have, for those that have missed it, you see here that we've got Spawn's rankings and my rankings, and obviously the OG is going to be number one here. For me, for Halloween 2, I am going to put this at number 3 for me. It is a good continuation of the original, and I think if there wasn't another movie out in here, obviously I would rank it number 2. But to me, this is a very good continuation, and and also what I would thought at the time was a good ending to the series. Like it kind of, if you watch it with like back to back, kind of like I did the other day. Its continuity is really good. It delivers a satisfying ending with the hospital and Loomis and Laurie doing the gas thing after he's gotten shot in the head, and then the fire at the end. To me, it delivered a satisfying conclusion to the series. Um, Obviously, that's not the case because we have 10 more films to discuss. But to me, it ranks third.
Anything you want to add, or shall I go next?
No, we'll go next, and then we can feed off each other.
Okay. For me, this is number 6.
Number 6.
This is number 6 now. Do like this film a lot, and I have watched it a lot. I normally like to watch this to back after the first Halloween. I do love this film, and I love that Michael Myers is a lot more brutal in this. Like, some of the kills are brutal. Pretty much what you said. It's a good continuation, but I've got a lot to add. I like this film. There's just films above this I enjoy a hell of a lot more, but 2's a great. Can I put this? Between 1 and 2 are the only 2 that existed. Still be happy because it's a good continuation. And, some great scenes.
So Halloween 2, you have it 6. So is that the surprising pick that we talked about earlier that we might add? No? Wow. Okay. All right, because I think I think consensus across the board is Halloween 2 is probably the best movie in the whole series. So you have it at a 6 is quite shocking for me.
Still like it. I like it a lot, but there's just a particular films that I saw more than number 2, which took me by surprise. Was you'll understand how I'm going to say a lot because I don't want to give it away, but you'll understand why it is where it is at a later time.
I got you.
We get for the rest.
I like one of the things I like about Halloween 2 is it obviously picks up right where the first one ends, and because after the first one ends, we're like, well, where'd Michael go? And then this kind of answers that question, and I like the fact that they brought back. Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasance. Obviously, Donald Pleasance is a staple in Halloween. Charles Cypher coming back as the sheriff. There are some kills that I really like. There are some kills I feel aren't all that great. And there's like what's his name? The kid who slips in the blood and gets unconscious and then goes and tries to start the car. What's his name?
I forgot his name. I know you're on about. I can't think.
Yeah, like him slipping in the blood like that, and then like pass out, and then like when you see him again, like the biggest thing that bothers me about that movie is when you see him again, like he's not there. It doesn't really have all the blood on his back like it should. Like for a guy laying in a pool of blood, he should be crazy, and for whatever reason, that always bothers me. But I like this movie. I thought obviously it's my second favorite in the series. Sorry, third favorite. And got Nick Castle returns as Michael Myers again. It's got that meme. It's got the famous meme kill with the nurse. People ought to say is like, oh, when you stick a finger in your butt, something like that. But yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's a fun film. I know, and like I said, I'm shocked by your pick because consensus is it's probably the second or third best movie in the series. So I'm now you have me 100% vested in what your picks are. The rest of the picks.
Yeah, I say when I can't say too much because I don't want to give it away. It's just shocked me that it. I can't say nothing. I'm just going to wait because it will give it away.
All right. So before we move on to Halloween 3, one of the with Halloween 2, I think one of the most shocking kills and how like there isn't more. I don't know. Maybe because it's a Halloween movie and the focus is Michael Myers and Laurie Strode, but I need to get an RIP in chat for Ben Tramer. Just the guy walking around with his Halloween mask, ends up getting run over by a cop, driven into an ambulance, and then blown up and caught on fire. That poor bastard was just trying to enjoy Halloween, and his death is absolutely brutal in that movie.
It is. It is. I think, and the thing with Nick Castle as well, like he did up the ante in this. I think this is the will show more into the glimpse of the brutal Myers, I guess, because I don't really think Michael Myers was brutal in the first one. It was more stalk and be creepy. In this, it's like a mixture.
Yeah, and it also really starts to showcase his. Although it's kind of speculated in the first one, um, really kind of start showcasing the supernatural side of Michael, his super strength, um, how he's able to do things that most people wouldn't be able to do. You know, obviously taking 6 shots, like Tupac, and then getting shot in the head and all that other stuff. Um, it really starts to showcase. It really brings about who Michael actually is.
Because I think in the first one, you couldn't really tell. Is he human? Is he not? Um, and jump into the second one, I think it's kind of like obvious. Okay, a normal human being wouldn't survive that.
Yeah. Or damn, I just lost my train of thought. Damn it. Damn it, you had something I wanted to say. You said you triggered something in my head. I wanted to say it. Now I can't remember what the hell it was. I will touch back on the review if I remember. All right, so before we move on to Halloween 3, which I feel is probably the most controversial movie in the whole series, do you have anything you want to add to Halloween 2?
Other than, like I say, if it is an if, because like I say, we got 12 films in the franchise, 13 soon. I think if Halloween 1 and Halloween 2 was the only two that existed, I'd be happy because they go well together, and you know it's still a great movie. So not much got a lot to add to it. Just and I think it's a really great sequel to a fantastic original.
I'm interested to see what 4 movies you would put ahead of Halloween 2. Out of the Halloween series, I'm interested.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, is probably the most controversial entry in the Halloween series. Um, a lot of people seem to dislike it. There seems to be a growing cult following for it. Um, where would you put Halloween 3 in the Halloween franchise ranking?
Halloween 3 for me is number 4.
4, okay.
Season of the Witch. The time I watch this film, I can't get the damn song out of my head. It just sticks and sticks. It's so good. Like some of the kills creative, yes, I get it. Michael Myers in the film, and that was a big disappointment. But if you don't call this Halloween Season of the Witch, and you take the old green out of it, it's a great standalone movie.
I
The
agree.
kills are so creative. Like, what an idea! Like they put the masks on and like they turn to bugs and whatnot. It's crazy, and I understand why. I know it's getting its cult following these days, but I still see it get a lot of hate just because Michael Myers in it. So, I understand. Don't get me wrong. If years ago when Season of the Witch came out and I went to the cinema, Michael Myers wasn't in it. I'd also, piss too. I would.
Yeah,
But you take that away from it, it's a great horror film and it's so creative.
it
Look at some of
is.
the kills. Look at the kills. It's brilliant. I've never seen anything like it in today's horror films still. Like you put the mask on and it literally like turns your face into like and you
Yeah.
got like everything coming out here. It's just creative and it's a great horror film.
Um,
A great
I
cast.
Yeah, it's Tom Atkins, aka
Love him.
Mr. Stash, who from The Fog, Halloween 3, Night of the Creeps, Maniac Cop. Um,
Maniac Cop.
God, I mean, just a staple of the horror community, and one of the nicest people you could possibly meet, by the way. Um, Great movie. It's got Dano Harley, Tom Atkins, Stacey Nielkin, um, and Dick Warlock, who actually played Michael Myers in Halloween 2, actually makes a cameo in Halloween 3 as an android assassin. Uh,
Didn't know that.
yeah, and Jamie Lee Curtis also makes a cameo in this, where she's the announcer and then also like the telephone service provider. Um, just her voice cameos. But I agree with you. It's a fantastic movie, and as you can see currently, I'm rocking the Silver Shamrock
Yeah.
Novelties hoodie, which is why I rate this movie at number 2 for me as the best Halloween movie. um, and well, as my rankings go, you'll kind of see, but I feel Halloween is a lot like Star Wars. There are some very very good films in this movie series, and then there are others that are movies. Um, uh, so for me, this one is number 2, and I agree with you that if this movie didn't have Halloween 3 in the title, it would easily be considered. I feel like it would be considered one of the greatest horror movies. Like we could put it in the echelon of like that '80s camp with Night of the Creeps, Night of the Comet, uh, what's the other one? Return of the Living Dead, Night of the Demons. Like all those movies, like we could add it to this list. Well, because it has the stigmata of the Halloween title, and people had an expectation of Michael Myers being in that, um, it always ranks at the bottom. But if you take just like Friday the 13th Part 5, oh, I lost everything. Okay, just like Friday the 13th Part 5, if you're able to get over the fact that that's not the real Jason, you realize that those fucking kills are brutal. That movie is good. Like that's a good like revenge film. Because a guy loses his son, snaps, and goes out and kills everybody. I mean, great, great movie. I mean, and I feel the same about Halloween 2 or Halloween 3. Sorry, I
I
feel it's
think they kind of hurt themselves by putting Halloween there. And now people have started to come round to it now. I watch this film and I get, everybody's entitled to opinions, we all am. But I just think, like, how can you not like the film? Like, brilliant, it's entertaining as hell. The song alone, like, there's no other song that sticks in my head more than that damn song. It sticks. So, you know,
yeah.
understood the hype for this film, and I'm glad it's getting the love it's finally starting to
Happy, happy Halloween, Halloween, Halloween,
people are coming round to it, but I still see a lot of people ranking it quite low just because Michael Myers ain't it.
Yeah, and you know what? That's kind of the thing with this is like obviously Michael kind of he becomes a he becomes a just a fried potato in the end of 2, and Deborah and John were reluctant to make a Halloween 3. So they kind of wanted to try to make Halloween an anthology movie, kind of like Tales from the Crypt, but like the focus would be like one story for that movie, and then like Halloween 4 would be another story, um, that wasn't Michael based, and um, how I feel about the Halloween franchise, pretty much after this movie, I would be 100% on board with that idea. I am kind of disappointed that they didn't do it, but um, I guess if they did do it, we wouldn't be having this discussion and having what I'm sure is going to be just an interesting ranking from you because I'm still shook that you got 2 at 6. So this will be this is going to be interesting. But yeah, and I have a buddy who like shits on me all the time because like I love Halloween 3, and he's like, Halloween 3 is the worst in the series. Uh, he claims to be the best Halloween, one of the better Halloween franchise fans, but he doesn't know shit.
Well, if you remember when we was doing the Nightmare on Elm Street ranking, I'd say if I go missing, it's because my Halloween ranking. There'll be like Halloween fanatics out there as well, which I love the franchise, but just got to be honest with my ranking, you know, and I'm excited to see where you put some of the others as well. So
Well,
it's exciting to do these and get people's different perspectives.
Yeah, like hyperbole aside, like when I say like the worst movie ever made, obviously there's like production values or like in scenes and acting and all that other stuff. Like it technically isn't the worst movie ever made, but for me personally, I would rather, uh, I would rather, I don't know, jump off the Empire State Building and land on a rusty bicycle than with no seat than watch that movie. So did I not go live or did I not hit the tweet to go live? I mean, I know we're live because people are talking, but did I not hit that tweet to go live? Did you not get tagged in Twitter by chance?
Twitter.
I thought I went live. I thought I put a live post on the Vodcast Twitter, but I guess I didn't. 2 seconds, guys. I was wondering why I wasn't getting any notifications. So when do you start, while we're taking this break for a second, while I do this, when are you... So, first of all, anybody that's in the chat right now, obviously you guys are here following me, but make sure you go check out my boy here, Spawn of Voorhees.
For that, Raven, I appreciate it, mate.
Great Dead by Daylight streamer who I'm trying to learn from, but I am still a fucking shit can when it comes to being Survivor. Getting a lot better at Killer, by the way. Death Singer is starting to become my main. Film franchise.
It takes a lot of time, though, Dead by Daylight, whether you're playing Killer or Survivor to what you got to master. But also, we've got Evil Dead coming up. Can't wait for that.
Yeah, we are going to have to figure out how we're going to play together.
Well, luckily, my streams are going longer.
Yeah, so I usually don't go live till like 8:30, which is like fucking 1:30 your time.
Sort something out. I will not be off Evil Dead.
Okay, all right.
We'll sort it out. Don't worry.
All right. Twitch.tv. All right, tweet. Okay. Sorry, guys. Let's see. Sinfonia says that's not true. If he goes missing, it's because of me. I should have known that was coming.
that could be a massive possibility.
Massive possibility.
She's cling film on it, is it? When it puts you to sleep, and then I'll wake up in America somewhere. She's kidnapped me.
Hey, at least you get to go to a con over here.
That's true. If she does, just make sure she kidnaps my laptop, Xbox, monitor to take with her.
Fair enough. Did you hear that, Sinfonia? Make sure you grab his Xbox, his mod, and his streaming gear so we can keep doing this shit. All right, and now it's tweeted and I got it out for you, so now we're good. All right. So where are we at? Halloween 3. Okay. I had it ranked at number 2. You had it ranked number 4. I love the masks. I'm gonna get like I have the figures from NECA. Because I'm a huge Halloween 3 fan. Obviously, wearing the hoodie, ranked it at number 2. I got to get the mask from Trick or Treat Studios. I don't know if you know about those or not, but if you go to Trick or Treat Studios, they have the masks there, which are phenomenal looking. Um, I have a Sam from Trick or Treat, the 2008 movie.
I have got to pick them up. I have a few like Halloween stuff. I've got to get more.
I
So
two of my
let's get
biggest
more. I definitely need to get stuff for Season of the Witch.
two of my biggest crown jewels in my horror collection are the NECA Night He Comes Home figure and then the Bedsheet Michael figure. So those are worth some scratch, and I am not getting rid of those.
Do you know? You're probably like me. Like a lot of the stuff I've got. Even if somebody offered me more, I still can't sell it. I just can't. It's like been a collector, so
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah, it's yeah, I love. We should do that one day. We should talk about collecting one day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
something we have got to do. Yeah.
it is a disease, and I love having it.
That's a disease I never want to get rid of.
Never want to get rid of, no matter what my wife says. All right, so now that we gotten, so here are the rankings currently. Currently got my top three are already round out at Halloween 1 at number 1, Halloween 3 at number 2, and Halloween 2 at number 3. Confusing. Spawn has Halloween at number 1, and then he has Halloween 3 at number 4, and for some reason Halloween 6 at number 2. So we're going to get rid of it. You got 3 more movies that are going to see what's better than number 2 here. God, I'm interested in that. All right, so I guess I'm up then with Halloween 4, aren't I? So I'm doing live rankings, by the way. Like I have them in my head, but like where I want to put this. Halloween 4. I think I'm going to have to put. See, that one's there. That one's there. I'm gonna have to put it number 9 for me. Uh, I am not a huge fan of this movie. The um, I like Daniel Harris. Daniel Harris as Jamie Lloyd is great. I like the fact that they say that's Jamie Lee's daughter. Um, I'm in on that. Uh, I kind of like I like the brutality of Michael in this movie. Um, but like what is wrong with that mask, man? Like that mask is awful. It's not even the worst one in the series, and that also affects my rankings a little bit because I am not a fan of the mask. It looks just like they picked something off a dollar store and we're like, hey, we're gonna run with this. Not to mention the inexplicable reason why is there a blonde-haired fucking Michael Myers in a quick scene with Donald Pleasance when he throws him against the wall? Like, it is a blonde-haired Michael Myers. How does the director, producer, actors, Donald Pleasant, Daniel Harris not notice that is a fucking blonde-haired Michael Myers? I can't do it. That's why it's 9 for me. That's it. That's just yeah, it's an awful movie. And the way you're smiling, I feel like I'm gonna hate your pick here.
My jaw dropped. I've got to be honest. When I heard you say that Halloween is at number 9, I don't know if you saw my jaw dropped.
I did see a little bit of a reaction. I did.
So, is that you got to say on Halloween 4?
That's yeah. I mean, because I'm not trying to shit all over people's hard work because I know people worked hard on this movie, but yeah, that's yeah.
I've got to be honest. I absolutely adore Halloween 4.
Oh man,
It's at number 3 for me.
number 3.
Number 3 is Halloween 4. this is one of my most watched Halloween films. I absolutely adore this movie. I love Danielle Harris. The ending where she like gets the knife and almost becomes, I don't know what you'd call it, maybe a female version of Michael Myers. Unfortunately, we didn't get that in a upcoming film that we'll talk about.
Yep.
Um, for me, I'm shocked that it's at number 9 for you. I love this film. It's at number 3.
Wow.
That's what I was shocked. Like, this is one of my main watched Halloween films. There's only one film that I like more than this one.
I am scared of what you have at number 2 now. If you have 4 and 3, I am scared. And this is why I love doing what we're doing, because the difference of opinion is great. Like I could easily, other than one other movie, like I could easily have Halloween 4 here, either be 9, 10, or 11, depending on how I feel that day. Like, and
Yeah, I understand that. I've got it the same here with a few of the picks at the bottom. I've got to ask, how did you like the ending in Halloween 4?
I did.
Yeah,
I do like the ending. I do like how, it is a throwback to the original and the opening scene of the original, where Michael, the young Michael is the clown and he's just standing there with a knife. I do like how it's a throwback. I'm not quite sure why Donald Pleasance decides to like shoot her, like or want to shoot her. I know like the sheriff like blocks it, like I think Donald Pleasance kind of overdoes it in that scene, and I love her coming out with the clown outfit and the knife and like the eyes. Um, but this was a swing and a miss for me for Donald Pleasance, which is a rarity. Um, just because his reaction to it, I think, is way over the top.
Couldn't agree with that, but I'm really excited to see where the rest are for you now. Like, I cannot believe that it's at number 9 for you. That shocked me, but and again, I think we're going to be shocked with each other's rankings here. I really do. I think there's going to be some shocks.
I mean, yeah, I like the idea. So they couldn't get Jamie Lee, so they needed a continuation of Michael, of like how he's kind of like what drives him, and then obviously his niece being the focal point, which is Danielle Harris. Jamie, or not Jamie. What's her name? What's her name? Uh, Danielle Harris'
Oh,
character. What's her real name? What's her name in the movie? Um,
come to me.
Shit.
Gonna do me, Eddie.
Jamie Lloyd. Jamie Lloyd.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I like Jamie Lloyd. I liked her foster sister, Rachel. I liked Rachel. But man, there were a lot of things that took me out of that movie, and that quick shot of the blonde Michael. Like, I can't believe in a big production movie, the return of the pivotal character of the series, and you're just like, hey, yeah, fuck it, let's cut it and run it. We got a blonde haired Michael Myers for 2 seconds, and it bothers me so fucking much.
I get that. I do agree with that, and I do love the Myers he's played in this. I think away from 1 and 2. The perfect blend again. This is just my opinion of the Michael Myers played. Taken away from the mask, which I agree. I gotta agree, the mask is not the best, but I don't know what it is about this movie. I can't explain it. I just love this film. I love Halloween 4, and I love Danielle Harris as always.
Daniel Harris is great, and absolute sweetheart. Like, if nobody knows Daniel Harris, if you get a chance to meet her. She's obviously Jamie Lloyd in Halloween. Later on, she's Annie Brackett in the remakes of Halloween, and then she goes on to play Mary Sue in the Hatchet movies. Great actress, absolute sweetheart, and highly recommend getting her autograph.
Yeah. She's going to Manchester Oricon, so I'll be meeting her.
Oh, will you? Hell yeah, hell yeah. She is
100%.
1,000% attractive too. Made me a little nervous. Not gonna lie. All right. Wow, 3. You got 4 at 3. That is all right. All right. So here is the only movie that I did not revisit during the past week is Halloween 5, and not because I didn't want to or anything like that. Just I ran out of time. Um, and so with Halloween 5, it's on you here. I'll let you take point.
Fortunately, I watched it again. It's one of them that I near enough hate. I hate number 5. Was because that I have for part 4, ending was perfect for me. I wanted to see Danielle Harris not become Michael Myers, but like sort of become like a sidekick, whatever choice he was going to make. And then they come up with this movie. Some of the scenes are shot good, but just come on, man! Like you got Michael Myers like washed down and stuff. If you remember that scene, and it just looks stupid. And yeah, some of the kills are cool, some of them, but overall, and Danielle Harris being mute. Just nah, man. I hate this film, man. I
Okay.
hate it. Just few good scenes. Making a mute. Why? Why are you making a mute? And it's just like frustrates me, man.
So where did you rank this one?
It's at number 11.
Number 11. Okay. All right.
Film angers me.
That's fair. That's fair. I am I yeah, I mean I agree with that. Mine is just a tad bit different. I have mine at number 10. Um so we're pretty on par there. I thought I'm with you. Like I really liked I don't know what it is with part 5s. Like it has the same problem that Friday the 13th part 5 had is it sets up something and then never delivers on it. Like part 5 of Friday the 13th, like you have Tommy Jarvis wearing the mask and like the broken window and like did he kill her or not? And part 5 here, part 4 sets up part 5, but like part 5 doesn't deliver on it. Like it has Jamie set it up to be Michael, and then it's just she's mute. And I'm with you. It's not, it's spoiler. The death of Rachel, one of the things I liked about part 4, didn't really care for. Tamara Glenn, who's in the movie, actually a Facebook friend of mine. Sucks that she dies, but hey, she's in it. Don Shanks is Michael Myers. Great guy. I actually met at a haunted house one day. He was actually doing a signing at a haunted house. Like, that was crazy. Got to meet him there. But I agree. Like, for what was set up for part 4, part 5 doesn't deliver, and that was a huge problem, and I did not care for it.
And Loomis as well is so different in this. It's weird. Just like he's always in a face, and it's so weird to see his performance in this.
Which is unfortunate because if I'm not mistaken, this is the final appearance of Donald Pleasance.
So
alive, like him being actual alive
Yeah.
in the movie. Like I know they do some CGI shit and all that other stuff, but as far as Donald Pleasance goes, I believe this is his final performance, right?
it was, and yeah, man, I don't understand the direction that was taken with this film.
I agree.
I say, like, Oh, like even though Halloween 5 is at number 11, because this is a film that I watch and I'm just like, I've even revisited it again. I don't like this film at all. No, yes, there's a few scenes that are cool. Some of the shots. I do not like the mask in this either at all.
No, and I don't know if you saw my tweet about it or not. Like when I started watching when I got to Halloween 4, I was like, well, this is the downfall of the masks for me until we actually get the Rob Zombies remake. Until I actually like another mask again. I think the masks just go, for whatever reason, downhill. We will get to H2O. I know that's next. And I have a lot to say about that fucking mask. Or masks. But yeah, like we are it's crazy to me. Like it should, for Donald Pleasance's last performance, I really hate the fact that that's his last movie. And I apologize that I didn't rewatch it. Because I know I didn't like it. Like when I started rewatching 4, I was like, oh shit, I know that 5's coming, and I realized
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much I fucking disliked 4. And then like time kind of lost track, so I don't have a lot to say on 5, but I liked it. I liked it more than the 2 other movies, but I know that it ranks pretty low for me.
I mean, it's like me. I haven't watched them all. There's a few that I'd have to watch. Like, I did rewatch Halloween 4 because before we done the ranking, I probably watched before we was going on about doing the Halloween ranking. I watched Halloween 4 and Halloween 1 again about 2 weeks before that because you know, um, you might feel hatred for me here, but I do watch Halloween 4 a hell of a lot.
Hey, I'll never hate on somebody for their opinions of movies. I might be shocked by it, especially a horror aficionado like yourself. I was not expecting 4 to be ranked at 3. Um,
Yeah,
that is interesting for me. That is
yeah,
interesting.
shit a lot.
All right,
As
so
much as the original, nothing about the original.
that's fair. That's fair. That is fair. Um, so now we have Halloween 6, which is one of those movies that also kind of um, separates the community a little bit, depending on which version you watch. For those that don't know, there's the original cut, and then there's the producer's cut of The Curse of Michael Myers. I did not watch the original cut. I watched the producer's cut, and there is a reason for that. That's because I think it's better. um, but with that being said, let's see here. You took 1, I took 2, you took 3, I took 4, you took 5, so I take 6. Okay. Um, so with 6 here, depending on which one, um, man, this is going to be probably one of my more unpopular picks, but I would put this at 5 for me. it ranks it ranks pretty high. I'm a huge Paul Rudd fan, and I think that helps a little bit too. Um, I love Paul Rudd, and as Tommy Doyle, and as I've gotten older and revisited just watching Paul Rudd, I'm like, hey, that's Paul Rudd. Um, makes the movie more enjoyable for me. And I was mistaken. This is his last movie. Donald Pleasance's last movie is this one. So I apologize for anybody who's watching this video upload on YouTube and I'm commenting furiously in the comment section that no, Halloween 6 was his last one, or Halloween 5 was his last one. No, yeah, no, I get it. Halloween 6 is his last one. I'm sorry. And so it's Paul. It's got Paul Rudd, Donald Pleasance returns, Daniel Harris, and kind of archive footage. And And I absolutely, it's the Curse of Thorn. I thought that kind of was an interesting concept at the time. As I've gotten older, I don't necessarily like the idea of the Curse of Thorn. But when I first saw it, knee-jerk reaction was like, hey, that's kind of cool. Like, the runic symbol of Thorn, and kind of, and then the underlying like sexual deviance of the whole film. It was kind of, I don't know, it kind of spoke to me, and um, that's why I rank it where I did.
6, Curse of Myers, number 8 for me.
Number 8, okay.
I do like this film. I'm mixed on the old curse part because it's a cool idea and I love the old occult feel. To me, Curse of Myers is one of the apart from Season of the Witch, I think Curse is one of them films where it's like different than any other Halloween films, if that makes sense. Just the old occult feel.
Oh.
And I feel that I'm mixed with the element of, okay, I like the idea that because of this curse he's so evil, but on the other hand, I don't really want to know. I like the old mystique of, why did he kill his family, and then to be told why he's killed his family and goes after them. It takes away from that mystique. But on the other hand, it's sort of cool that it's because of this curse, the old occult thing. So it's kind of mixed. It's like a mixed thing for me, the storyline. I think the film's good. Why, it's at number 8. It's just that aspect. I don't know. Some days I love the aspect of the old curse. For me, it takes away from the mystique of Michael Myers, if that makes sense.
I get that. Like, I feel you on that. I do like the idea of like, say, like the less is better, and like you're always kind of wondering. So I get that. I'm on board with that.
So, like I say, I like this. I like it. I like Curse of Myers. I like it a lot. It's just the reason why it would be either number 8, but the only reason why it's at number 8 because when I'm watching this film, brain cannot determine whether it likes that story or whether it don't because I like the mystique of Myers. But yeah, I do like the old Curse of Myers that's why he's killing people. And my brain just can't make its mind up. So it's ranked at number 8, but I still do like this movie a lot. I do like Curse of Myers.
Yeah, and depending on the version, like I would probably put the regular version lower than where I have the producer's cut, but I don't know. The producer's cut does stuff like so outside the norm of like what's acceptable, and I don't know if maybe that's where the positivity comes from for me or not. Like, hey, this is something completely different, and this is edgy, I guess, and like, and while the idea disgusts me itself, like the fact that like the movie Feast, like you never really see kids die, but like in the movie Feast, like when that kid gets eaten, and you're like, holy shit, like that is like a no. Like you're not supposed to show that, and like, and I'm kind of that way with the producer's cut too. Like it's kind of like, well, no, but hey, you did it, and I applaud you stepping outside the safe zone.
Yeah, they took a totally different route, and I'd say for the most part it works. It's so different from the rest of the films that it works. It's just like I say, for me, I just can't determine whether I like that angle or not. Like the old evil because of this instead of just evil for being evil's sake.
Yeah,
It's that aspect of it. So yeah, I like this film, and it met my mind up whether I the aspect of being evil because of the curse maybe be ranked higher, but just because I can't decide on that one aspect, I still like it. I like number 6 a lot, and I do watch it quite a bit, and I enjoy it. It's ranked at number 8. If it were for that, could be ranked a little bit higher.
I think another thing that helps too is the fact that it's Tommy Doyle.
Yeah.
Like being a fan of the OG, or like, well, whatever happened to the kids that Lori was watching that night? Like, Did they suffer trauma? Did they suffer like PTSD? And then to kind of see, that character get taken down the road, even get taken farther later in some other movies that we'll talk about. Um, it was kind of nice and kind of different. I enjoyed that. All right. So now we are up to Halloween H2O, and I guess for a lack of better descriptive words, a deviation of the timeline, uh, and possibly a change of the overall narrative of Halloween. But I will let you start here with Halloween H2O.
Right, H2O is at number 9 for me.
Okay, fair.
Now, it's not like Halloween 5. It's nothing like that or anything. It's like I can watch this movie. I think it's a passable slasher film. I think it's passable as a film. Mask. I hate the mask in this film. It can sometimes take me out the film. So,
I agree.
Jamie Lee being back's always great, but don't like this version of Jamie Lee.
Nope.
I'll go into it in other films, but I'll prefer other performances now. She does great for what they wanted in the script. I'm sure she nailed it. And she does great in it overall, but I'm just not a fan of this Jamie Lee. The film's passable. It's an okay slasher film. I can sit down and watch it. I don't know, man. I'm so 50-50 with this film. Like, they do a lot right and they do a lot wrong. Like, I'll tell you the one kill that I love. I can't remember her name. The girl in the what they're called now, where the going down like an elevator thing, and Michael Myers stabs her in the leg.
Yep.
And like she's trying to get away, crawling. Killed because it's simple, like, but if you put yourself in her shoes, like you've been stabbed in the leg, you're trying to run away, you can't run, so you're crawling, you know he's gonna get you. I love the atmosphere of that kill.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like that was what Sarah, I think was her name. I
think so. Yeah, I can't remember
Yeah.
her name. And
Yeah, the little dumbwaiter there. Yeah.
And another scene I love is where Jamie Lee's about to leave, and like to her son, I believe, and she's like, "Go, go," and she finally says, "I'm gonna take on Michael Myers," and then she goes back into the house and says, shouts, screaming Myers, and then Myers just is at the top and he just comes down really slow.
Yeah.
I love that scene. Imagine how much better that would have been if it was actually a good mask.
Yeah, I agree with you.
For me, H2O is a passable slasher film. It's okay. The Mask, it low down for me, and you know, it's a film I'm so 50-50 with. I can watch it and get through it and enjoy it. But for me, it's at number 9. I'm so 50-50 with this film.
I feel you on that. I feel that
Oh, something I'll throw in as well. It feels like a Scream film. Agree?
Yeah. No. Well. So for me, I have this one at 7 or 8, but I'm gonna put it at 7 right now. And I agree with, but like the problem I have, and like when you say Scream film, I think the problem that one of the big problems I have, like this movie here is, there's no surprise kills. Like there's no, you expect the people that are gonna live, and you expect the people that are gonna die to die. There isn't there's really nothing of value for me in this movie. And like with Scream, like it's always who is it, who lived, who died, or who's gonna live, who's gonna die. This one I never like Halloween 2 H2. I never felt that. Like you knew all his friends were gonna die. You knew Jamie was, you know, you felt like Jamie was gonna live. Um, you didn't know about his girlfriend. I mean, that might have been speculative, but like for the most part, the boyfriend or his friends, possibly Ice or LL Cool J, but yeah, to me, like it was really a no-brainer. And the masks are fucking off. They change expression. How is a mask change expression?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Like, how is that a thing? I like. Oh man, like, if your character is the central point of the fear for your character is the mask, you can't fuck that up. And
Oh.
they fuck it up a lot in this movie. There's 4 different masks in this movie. Like, what is my dude doing? Like, going back to the car and changing his mask every time? Like, there are 4 different masks, and they are different.
And I'll throw this in with H2O. This is the only film in the entire Halloween franchise continuously got down the line for me. When I first watched H2O, I loved it. And I rewatched it. It was like, I remember it being better than this. And then when I've watched it again, it's like 50-50 film for me. I do feel it's a passable slasher film. I think it's passable, but like I say, it's just so 50-50 for me. There's some aspects I like, and then there's some aspects that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like the fact that Jamie Lee suffers from, like, PTSD and is, like, an alcoholic, and it really shows, like, the trauma and, like, how it has affected her and her family going forward. Her family now being a son and not a daughter named Jamie, who is never mentioned in the movie and is essentially just written out of the timeline going forward. And which was another thing that bothered me because it was like they were just like, hey, she's got a son now, and
Yeah, it's at the blue.
yeah, and like no mention of Jamie. Um, I'm not a huge Josh Hartnett fan, so I wasn't excited to see him anyways.
Yeah.
The kills, I mean, I like the dumbwaiter kill, like where she hurts her leg and then is like going out the corkscrew, the wine bottle, with their corkscrew.
Yeah, that's
Um,
cool.
I mean, really, I think the best thing about this movie is I think one of the best things is that both Jamie Lee Curtis and Janet Leigh are working this movie. Mother and daughter working together. I think that's probably the coolest thing out of the whole damn thing.
And sorry.
No, go ahead.
And you see, the biggest pull out for me of this film is, you know, the part where Michael Myers is chasing her son and his girlfriend, I believe. The first time in years she actually sees Michael Myers, and in my head I'm just picturing it like, if that was the original mask, and how much better the scene would have been. But like looking at that mask and where she's shocked that it's Michael Myers, to me at the film, because I'm like, just the mask don't even look scary. Like, it pulls me at the mask, like out the film so much, because it's just like, that would be an iconic if it was the original mask or just the mask that looked better. Jamie Lee's just looking through the window, that little window, and Michael Myers is there just tilting his head a little bit.
Yep.
And it just pulls me at the film because it's just like, it'd be an iconic in my opinion if that was the original mask or a mask close to it, and the mask just pulls you at the film so much.
I mean, yeah. At one point, one mask is CGI, which is why.
I don't understand what they've done with it.
Yeah, and then like at one point, like in the window, like it's just a plain like white mask. Kind of reminds me of Part 4 a little bit. Like it's just kind of plain, but then like later it looks like he had like cheek surgery, like cheek injections done in one, and then then like the scene where he's like reaching out, like where he's trapped between the log and the ambulance, and he's like reaching out, and I don't. I don't know what they were doing over there, and that drives me nuts.
Yeah. This is just a 50-50 film for me, man. I mean, I can watch it, but more effort into the mask. Like, it's Michael Myers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Takes you out of it.
it does.
Like
Like,
I say, like it's so annoying. Like I say, like it's so much more effective. Like I do love that scene where Jamie Lee acing Michael Myers for years, and then he's chasing her son, and I think it was his girlfriend, and they go into the house and she's locking it, and then she just looks up and Michael Myers is tilting his head to her, and she's like shocked that it's him. It's just like takes you out of it because the mask is just horrible, and it's just like I had a thing where you could read inside the mind of the Jamie Lee Curtis character. Uri, you should be thinking, what happened to you? What happened to you? What happened to your mask? Do you get what I mean? It's terrible.
Yeah.
That mask annoys me. Honest to God, like every single Michael Myers. I'll tell you what. If I woke up, if I had a drink and somebody tattooed that mask on me, I'd cut it out. Mask is horrible.
It is. It is rough. It is. It is a rough movie based off masks alone. The ever-changing facial expressions and just the oh man, it's just rough. I don't. Yeah, absolutely rough. I've even though I rank it at 7, like I still don't really have much good to say about it, and that's kind of like where I'm getting at the Star Wars. Like to me, like Halloween is the Star Wars of horror. Like there's a couple movies that I really like, but then like the rest is like, is it really that good? Is the series really that good? And I'm kind of and revisiting all these movies really kind of brought that point home for me, which is why my list will show that.
I agree for the most part. I mean, through it, like there's only 3 films that I can't really watch in this franchise, which we'll get to later. Most of them are passable for me and good or fantastic, like the original. Um, but we'll get to them when we get to them.
All right. Well, speaking of getting to them, let's get into number 8 here, which is Halloween Resurrection. Um, did I take the first one? Did I take the last one, or did you?
Took the last one first, yeah.
You did.
It's you, mate, yeah.
Okay. So, fittingly, Halloween 8, I actually have at 8. Um, uh, I know it's a terrible movie. I know it's bad. Like, and it's probably one of the most hated movies in all of the franchise. But the the campiness of it makes it better for me than a lot of the other movies. And when I say campiness, it's like Busta Rhymes wearing the Michaels mask and fighting Michael, and the use of like at the time like cameras for internet feeds, and we really started bringing Michael into the next century, and really showcasing technology. And I thought the kills were fun. And again, this will end up being another deviation of a timeline. Them killing Lori, I thought was like, hey, that's really cool. Like I wasn't expecting that, and she dies at the beginning of this movie. Um, hashtag spoiler. It was it was a lot more fun than 4 other movies, and that's why I rank it at 8.
I can understand that. I mean, for me, Resurrection is at number 10.
Okay.
But for me, Resurrection is the Batman and Robin of the Batman universe, because it's so bad that you can have fun with it, because it's just him kicking like kung fu kicks at Michael Myers and telling him to go, and Michael Myers don't say nothing and just goes away. It's so bad that it's got a fun aspect to it. I feel like the film don't take itself that serious.
Yeah, and I agree with you, and I think that's kind of why I like it, is because like it knows it's a shit show, and it just embraces it, and
I think it embraces it perfectly. I can't remember what her name is, but she's doing a coffee and she's got this daft dance and she's singing along to the song. And straight after that scene, it goes back to the house where they're going, and then they like get jump scared, and it's one of them films that's so bad you can have fun with it at least.
yeah,
In my opinion, there's some funny aspects. Like whenever I see Michael Myers in that film, and they're doing like kung fu kicks and everything, it's you can't help but smile. It's so stupid.
Oh yeah, like, and that's what I like about it. It just took that campiness and then just like embraced it. Like, this is the 8th fucking movie in a Halloween series, so I don't think anybody's expecting Citizen Kane at this point, and they just went full on camp with it.
Yeah. So I'm pretty much with you on that. Yeah, it's at number 10, but it's one of the fun bad movies. At least you can have fun with it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, obviously people get, they put Michael on a pedestal a little bit, and they get a little upset because he gets his butt kicked by Busta Rhymes for a little bit, and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, Busta Rhymes is a big dude, so like, I mean, hey, he could probably throw a couple punches,
He would.
Ultimately I expected Busta to die kind of in the same way. What's his name dies on the roof of the building in Friday the 13th Part 8, where he just gets his head knocked off. Like,
That's brilliant. Straight into the dustbin.
Yeah, like that was ultimately how I expected Busta Rhymes to go there. Obviously, that didn't happen, that'd have been interesting. All right, well, let's see here. Anything you want to add to Part 8?
No, I can't say there's a lot. Like I say, it's so bad that you can at least throw it on and have a laugh with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think just having fun with it is key there, and just not real and realizing, hey, it's the 8th fucking movie in the series. Like, calm it down.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, now we are up to another controversial movie in the series, which is the Halloween remake from one of my favorite musical artists, Rob Zombie. Which this movie is, when did this movie come out? 2008?
2007.
7? Was it? Yeah, you're right. 2007. Yep.
2007.
So take the lead on this one, good sir.
For me, Halloween, the remake, Rob Zombie's Halloween, is at number 7.
Number
on my
7.
list.
Okay.
I like his film a lot. Always enjoyed Rob Zombie's directions in films. He's a good director, in my opinion. And so the only aspect that I have is, yes, you get the backstory of Michael Myers. At least he's got the balls to show it. Like, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over, so he had to do a little something different with it. And Myers is evil, man. Like, he's killing animals, and you sort of understand what, like, his background a little more because of his mom, and everybody's calling his mom a slut and all this. Like, the scene where he's a kid, and spoiler alert, but where the scene where he puts the mask on for the first time, he's absolutely smashing that kid's face in with the wood, I believe. It's brutal, and I've got to be honest, man. Big fan of Rob Zombie's Halloween, which is why, it's ranked pretty high at number 7. Really like Rob Zombie's Halloween. Yes, you get his wife in every film, but I've got nothing against his wife. I think she's a decent actor. What's the name now? It's gone from me.
Sherry Moon Zombie.
Yeah, it's my mind's blank. But I think I don't know why it's. I don't get it, people's opinions, but I don't get why it's so controversial. It's such a good film. The Mask is back and it's great.
I agree.
Myers is a beast. I love the scene where he's in the take him out, and he thinks that the police officer thinks that he's safe from Michael Myers. He's just like, I'm just going to take these off. Like, you're messing with Michael Myers. What do you think he's going to get? And then he crushes him. Like, what do you expect is going to happen? I believe, was it, the bloke's name who played Myers, was it Tyler Summit?
Yeah, Tyler Mane. Yep, Tyler Mane.
The main, that's him. He's a beast as Michael Myers.
Yep.
I've always liked the scene as a massive Kane fan from wrestling. I love the scene where he's like walking, he's in chains. It sort of reminded me of the storyline from 2003, 2004 with Kane. So that always gives me a little throwback. And as a fan of Kane, that's always a plus. So Rob Zombie while doing that, but my head. But yeah, man, like Rob Zombie's Halloween's good. You've done a great remake. The balls to show why Michael Myers is so evil, whether people agree or disagree. All I'll say to that is they can't keep doing the same thing over and over. So it was good to say, okay, why is Michael Myers so sick? And the film starts off great, man. Like his pets, like for no reason at the start. Great film.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that is why I have Rob Zombies at number 4 for me.
Okay.
I love the first 2/3 of this movie. I think are almost perfect. I like, as you said, you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, and I like how he stepped out of the zone and showed how bullying can affect people's mentality. Obviously, it goes to the extreme in this instance, but kind of growing up in a white trash house with I guess a stepdad that is abusive and toxic, and then having to go to school, and all the kids know that your mom's a stripper, and then and they bully you and things like that. You know, it was nice to see that deviation, and kind of give an actual purpose to Michael as to why he did it. I love the first 2/3 of it. I think it is fantastic. I think the last act is good. I think it's rushed. I really felt like watching it, all this character development and showing who's what and what's going on, and then I feel like Rob was like, holy shit, I gotta end the movie, so then that last act is rushed. But I love the cast too. I think the cast is a huge plus for me. The cast really adds to it. You have who's all this? Michael McDowell, Clockwork Orange fame for me anyways. Is Dr. Loomis. Brad Dourif, the voice of Chucky, is Sheriff Brackett. Tyler Mane, who was Sabretooth in the X-Men movies, is now Michael. And Tyler is the biggest fucking dude he's fucking huge. And he is menacing as Michael. If I saw that guy in that mask walking towards me, there'd be two things that happen. One, I'd shit myself, and two, there would be a plus size cutout of me in a wall, because I would just run through the wall and be scared shitless. But then it's got Sherry Moon Zombie. Say what you will, but he casts his wife in all his movies because his wife only wants to work with him. Like she's had other offers, like she did the Toolbox Murders and all that other stuff, but like they enjoy working together, and like if you have a good relationship, who wouldn't like working with your husband or wife every day? So I mean, those people could fuck off with that idiotic mentality. I mean, plus you're Rob Zombie and your wife is smoking hot. Like, why wouldn't you want her in like movies? Um, William Forsythe is in this movie. Huge fan of him. He actually is in Devil's Rejects, which is ranks really high on my list of horror movies. I love Devil's Rejects. Um, Uda Kier's in this movie. Danny Trejo, Lou Temple, Tom Tolles from Henry and Devil's Rejects. He's in this movie. Bill Moseley, Leslie Easterbrook. The return of Danielle Harris. This time as Annie Brackett. Uh, you know, um, Ken
The
Forey.
list just goes on.
Yeah, Ken Forey, the big ass trucker, gets his ass kicked.
It just
Uh,
goes on and on.
yeah, I mean it's huge, and it is so cool to see all of those characters and all those people that from 70s, 80s, 90s horror movies kind of get brought back into and get to play different characters, and I love it, and I love The Mask. The Mask is one of my favorite masks. I think it's so good. Um, it pays homage to the original. It ages it, so you see him where he wears it as a kid, and then years later he gets it out and it's aged, it's deteriorated, it's worn. I love The Mask, and I don't care what anybody says. I think Rob Zombie did, and in this movie, Rob Zombie did Michael Myers justice.
It's a fantastic remake to me. Um, the Friday the 13th remake. It's one of the better remakes.
I
It's
agree.
brilliant.
I agree. It's fantastic. I like
I've
seeing.
always enjoyed Rob Zombie's direction that he takes in his horror films. Like, I feel like you can stick a film on, and if they say Rob Zombie, you'd know you're watching a Rob Zombie film just with his direction he takes.
Yep.
And it's. I've always enjoyed I like a down and dirty directing. Um, if that makes sense, just with how he directs. Which I think is why he works with a lot of the same people all the while, because they get him.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Working with his wife, why do you care? She does her job well.
Yeah. I mean,
That matters.
she's great as Baby in the Firefly series. She's great in 31. She's great in Lords of Salem. She's great in um
It's rejects.
yeah, Devil's Rejection of the Firefly series. Fantastic as Baby. I mean, I'm interested to see in the Monsters what else she's gonna do.
No, I can't wait.
Well, one of the things that pisses me off is like, and obviously opinions aside, like I feel like this movie is a good movie, and one of the things that people always say is he didn't bring anything new to the series, and I'm like, did you watch the movie? Did you did you watch the first half of the movie where like there's that whole child abuse angle, like growing up and being a victim of bullying and all that stuff, like how is that new? Like how is that not new to the series? And the brutality too. Like I mean, this really kicks off a brutal Michael. I mean, you good.
They're talking like nothing new. He might talk as a kid.
Yeah, no, he never talked as a kid. No.
Like, so how it not new? This is what I don't get with some people from it. Like, you actually hear him talk. Like, some of the film, like he's telling him to shut up when he's saying that his mom's a slut. Um, when his dad's talking to him, and his dad's mocking him with the words that he's saying, and calling him a little sissy and everything, and all this stuff. So he did bring something new because he's showing you why Michael Myers was the way he was.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. Like, it's not like the Curse of Thorn, which everybody shit on anyway. So, like, this is a new idea.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, hey, those people are like, well, they brought nothing new. I mean, you're just an idiot and didn't watch the movie, and I'm going to stand by that.
yeah. If people do think that, look, I mean, with your opinions aside, we're all allowed our opinions and I respect them. But you gotta watch the film if you think that there are nothing new in Zombies Halloween, because, like I say, for the first time, you actually hear Michael Myers talk as a kid,
Yeah, yeah.
and it also shows you why he mute after he stopped talking. After a while, after he kills the nurse, I believe it's the nurse in the hospital where he is, and but he can get through to him in the iceboat for years. So I like that it shows you, like, the first half of the film, in my opinion, is more like it's like a prequel to what become Michael Myers. Michael Myers that we love and know. It's more of a prequel because it goes straight into why he is the way he is.
Yeah, and it's what it does too is like it shows that Michael. It doesn't matter like who you are or if you were like once he reached that point, it was game over. Like Danny Trejo's character, right? Like he took care of Michael for 20 years. He was nice to him, fed him, took like I mean was took from all accounts was very pleasant to Michael. And then the moment Michael had a chance, he just fucking I mean he killed the shit out of him. So like
Yeah, I
uh
love that scene because he's like, "Oh, Michael, I fed you, I looked after you." Like, come on, mate, you ain't gonna listen to you, it's Michael Myers.
yeah, he's like Mikey, what are you doing? And like yeah, I mean like
Brilliant, I love it.
yeah, it's great, and it just shows the brutality of Michael, and I think that was really a pivotal scene because it does show that Michael is now a killing machine, a brutal. It doesn't matter, it's he's driven, and that's his drive now.
Yeah.
All right, anything you want to add to that?
Just it's a fantastic remake, and never understood the hate it got.
I agree. I'm with you 1,000%. All right, so we are up to Halloween 2, Part 2. um, is this me? Do I get to go first on this one?
Um,
Or is that you?
'Cause I think you went first, just there.
Okay, please go first.
You want to go first?
No, please go first.
Right. God. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Rob Zombie, I love him. I absolutely love him as a musician, as a director. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is at number 12. The best I can put this is this movie. I hate it with a passion. Film is terrible. Even for somebody that loves, like, I've said it many times, I'm a gore whore when it comes to horror films. I love, normally in an horror film, give me a killer that I love, or I like, give me good kills, and you can entertain me, I'll like the film. The film has that, and I still hate it. Kills are great, some of them are brutal. I hate this movie.
Yeah. Yep. I
There's not much I can say other than fuck this film. I hate it.
You and I are in agreement on this one. We have matched the first one at number 1, and this one is at number 12 for me. This to me is the worst movie ever made. Period. I think you are correct. The kills are brutal. They are gruesome. But there is nothing of value in this movie for me. The story is all over the place. Characters make nonsensical decisions. It's I don't understand. Like I understand the idea of now you started Michael on this path of he was being bullied and abused and all this other stuff in the first one. Now you introduce this goddamn white horse, this fucking metaphor that's driving him to kill. And I get it. You want to you want to be artsy, like you kind of went a little artful direction in this movie, I think, and it just didn't. It didn't do anything for me. This is by far, hands down, the worst period movie period ever, fucking period, and I hate it.
Yeah, it's shit. I mean, okay, you tried to take a different direction. The old, like you say, the old white horse, like just I can't. If this, it, I hate it. I don't know what Rob Zombie was thinking. But, doesn't make doesn't make sense. A white horse, Michael Myers film. That's
No.
thinking a white horse in a Michael Myers film. Why? I get you trying to go with some metaphor.
Yeah, I mean,
It just falls flat. I hate this film. There's nothing. The thing I can say that's good about it is the kills, but even that ain't enough to save it.
yeah, like the problem I had, and that's the problem is like you did such a good job in the first one with telling the story of Michael and like how he kind of came to be to this white horse bullshit. And it's not even explained well. That's the problem. Like if you know, obviously there's some movies where, excuse me, where like some things can be left up for interpretation, and I'm all for that. But like if you have to like go to the Google to like learn what the white horse is or all that other stuff, like you did not make a good movie. Like if I have to go outside of the movie to figure out what you're trying to say, then to me you didn't do a good job. And
I agree. I
that was
agree.
awful, awful movie. Worst movie ever. I hate it.
Is it? Yeah. I think coming into this ranking, I think we knew what our first and last was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to see. I was getting a little nervous about Halloween 2 there with you, but I'm glad to see that you got it there at 12. I'm glad.
No, I hate it.
Yeah. I mean the kills are great, and the throwback to like the nurse and like the original Halloween 2, that's kind of nice, and kind of like the hospital thing. But other than that, like no, this somebody ever goes, hey Sean, you want to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? I will get up and leave and probably piss in their car on my way out. Like, not on board with that at all. What is happening here? Who's blowing my phone up? All right. So up next, then, you got anything to add to Halloween 2?
No, just
No. Yeah.
Never watched it ever.
Yeah. I wish I didn't.
I will say, just kind of randomly, it's not as bad as Nightmare on Elm Street remake. Like that.
Okay, I feel you. I feel you on that. It's
Still shit.
well, no. I can't. No. To me, Halloween 2 is still the worst movie ever made, and there's some redeeming things that I liked about Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake, but this, other than the kills, no.
Shit.
Yeah. Okay, so rounding out here, I'm going to be interested to see which one of these two you're going to have at your number 2 spot, because we are now up to Halloween remake 3.0, which is timeline whatever, where we're now back to Laurie's alive. She doesn't have a son. Jamie's not around. She doesn't have a daughter named Jamie. It's now, was it Karen? Is her name Karen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Karen here. Is that her name, Karen? Yeah, Karen. So I'll just go ahead and jump in this. This one I put at 11. There's the biggest reason that this movie is at 11 for me. is because of Dr. Sartain. Michael Myers does not need help. He does not need somebody to guide him on his in his quest for killing, and like Sartain kind of driving the wheel of Michael for a little bit uh really pissed me off. Michael is a killing machine. He's just like, yeah. I understand that they're going in a different direction because now that, because if I remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, timeline wise, Halloween 2018 is a direct sequel to Halloween 1978. So none of the other movies have happened. Um, but still, he's shown to be a brutal killing machine in 1978. 6 shots don't stop him. Just a beast. So this Dr. Sartain figure, and hopefully I'm pronouncing it right, is killed the whole vibe for me. And not the fact that I hate the idea that it completely wipes out any of the continuity from any of the other Halloween movies, whether it be Halloween 2 or anything like that. Like I didn't care for it, which is why I ranked it 11.
Okay. In 2018 is at number 5 for me.
Okay.
This is the Jamie Lee Laurie Strode that I love. This is the that I want to see, where it's just so badass in my opinion. And I love the fact that Nick Castle returns in this for a little while. The the other person who plays Michael Myers in this, but I don't know if it's in the little documentary they're doing on it, where they do a scene for scene where Castle's in the mirror, Michael Myers, and as he turns his head, it then flicks over to the new Michael Myers who's playing him. I forgot the name of the new Michael Myers.
I think it's James Jude Courtney.
Castle come back for this.
Yeah.
And I love Michael Myers in this film. I love how it begins. I like this shot where he's just it sounds weird, but I love the shot where he's just walking and the music's playing, like the new theme that's going on. This film, that's why it's at number 5 for me. I think I agree with what you're saying, but hey, watching Jamie Lee in this, I think this is one of my favourite performances by her. For me, the old Nick Castle returning is just such a great touch. And I think they do so. It's a weird one because there's only one film that I like more than this, which we'll get into after this one. But the stuff that they do here, I do agree with. Kills are brutal, man. Like
They are.
kills are absolutely brutal. I mean, the one where he stamps on the bloke's face is like, what the hell? I mean, joke I could have done without. Like, I don't know why they're coming out with them jokes in it. Sort of like, okay, that one needed, but whatever. One of the biggest things for me is Nick Castle coming and then him sort of passing the torch to the new Michael Myers person who played him. I forgot his name again.
James Jude Courtney.
The one. And I think he does such a great job as Michael Myers. James Jude Courtney. I hope I'm saying his name right.
Yep.
But just that fact, I just love it that if you see it, he's in the mirror and as he's turning around and he sort of gives the head tilt that he always does, that Nick Castle done in the original. But then it shoots back to James Jude Courtney in the costume. Just, I like that little nod that it's Nick Castle sort of saying, all right, you're going to take the torch now. I like that little backstory. I still think Nick Castle probably is my favourite Michael Myers, but that James Jude guy is coming close, especially when we get to another film later on. But there's a lot to say about Halloween 2018 for me, but for me, I love her performance. I absolutely love her performance here. She's
Oh
all
yeah.
ready, and she's like just ready to go to war with Michael Myers. She's no longer scared. She's ready. She's prepared, and she makes you out loud like Home Alone. Like,
Which is, another thing that kind of bothered me about this film is, okay, so we are now 40 years down the road. Um, and I understand that she kind of had a life, she had a daughter and obviously had a relationship. But to be so, I mean, what, she's 18 there, so 40 years later, so 58 now. Um, and then, so that would put Michael at like 61. To be 40 years down the road and so overly petrified of essentially a geriatric at this point. Uh, I don't know. Like I guess this movie suffers at my hands because the logical part of my brain is like, okay, I get you have PTSD, but why are you like Michael now is like 61? He's probably got to get up 3 nights and to take a piss every night, like 3 times to take a piss. Like are we really that scared of Michael? But then like if you bring in the supernatural element, I guess, that kind of helps alleviate some of that stuff. But I don't know, Dr. Sartain, that whole that whole thing bothered me, and I can't get past it. And I don't like Karen in this movie either. Like Karen annoys the shit out of me in this movie.
okay,
Um,
I think the aspects that you give in there, I agree with. I do think if them was took out, Halloween 2018 might be a little lower for me because I don't like the part where as well where like they got the mask and he's holding it and like the old
yeah,
coming in and everything. I mean, I still love this film, which is why it's at number 5. But without them aspects, film could probably be where this other film is.
so I've only watched this once or twice, and I can't remember because I revisited it a couple months ago. Um, is it ever really explained why Aaron and Dana think the mask is like what drives him? Like, why did Aaron feel so important to go to um, Smith's Grove with the mask and like shove it in his face and be like, ah, like what was the? Did they ever really explain what the significance of that was?
They actually never went through it. I don't know what it is. Like, if they're drawing on the fact that the mask that gives him powers, but that can't be the case because of a later film that's coming that we'll talk about. So I never understood that aspect. But I think that's the aspect that was going for. Maybe it's mask makes him. Well, I don't know. Or sort of gave me what's that other film where they do that now? If it might have been one of the sequels in The Exorcist, where like they show up and it's all going. So I don't know if there's just going with the supernatural aspect there, maybe, because like once he pulls up the mask and goes like Michael, and then like the wind comes and all them, you want to call it. I don't know if they're going with the supernatural aspect there. Doesn't really make too much sense.
Yeah, I mean at the time it doesn't make sense. I guess yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, anything I can think of.
Um, yeah, and the ending, um, uh, the ending was a little weird for me. Like more so because I, I don't know. I guess the timing doesn't really add up for me. Knowing how fire works, and more importantly, how it works with like the human skin and like latex, um, masks and things like that. Like when he's standing there watching her, and then, I mean, I really feel like the damage that he should have received from the fire alone really should have changed the outcome for Halloween too. But I get that's just me. Um, yeah, I was just I think this movie suffers a lot because I nitpicked. Like I didn't I hated the opening with the mask where he's like shoving the mask in his face, and then Doctor Sartain, and then like it never Karen was annoying, and it never really was able to I don't know get past that for me. And other than the kills, I mean, were brutal. I think the next one we talk about is a little more brutal. Um, but I think that's really the only redeeming quality is just the kills for me.
What it is with some movies is when something annoys me, I'm able to take myself out of that if they start to string me along with a storyline that I'm enjoying. I'm able to take myself out of that, which sure we're going to come to this in a later franchise. Cough, cough, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm sure we'll come to that in that. But I think Emily's performance is one of the big ones for me that pulls me in. I absolutely love her in this film. I just think it's almost like Sarah O'Connor, like Terminator. Like she just wants to go after Michael Myers. She's like she's ready. It's like Michael Myers has fucked her up that much. She's just like ready for war with him. Like she just knows that he's going to show up one day, and it's her performance that just pulls me in. I love her performance in this. I love the kills. Like I said, the old Nick Castle returning, I loved, and the old music I think is great in this as well. So I think this is why I've got it ranked at number 5. Is there's a lot of stuff that I liked about it, and the stuff that I didn't like about it, I was sort of able to get over later on in the film, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, it's I'm with you. I think it's I understand why people like it, and I think you have valid points for all of that. And I think I can fully admit that the reason that this ranks so low for me is my own stubbornness.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm mad that it got rid of the continuity of the original timeline. I'm mad that Doctor Sartain is there. I'm mad that I have no idea why these two fucking essentially just podcasters are at Smith Groves like shoving the original
yeah.
mask in his face. Like, uh, I'm mad at Karen all the time. And I can't get past it. That's my own fault. And I imagine if I could set it all aside, like a normal person, I'd probably rank it higher, but I just can't. I just can't.
But I get it. I get it, and I think this is the great thing with opinions. I do get it. Um, but like we say, this is well, I love the rankings because we can give both our views, and it's we sort of can shock each other with how we rank them. And I think
Yeah.
that's going to come with a later franchise as well.
Well, you've definitely shocked me with this one, and I'm sure I know I've shocked you. So
Yeah.
I'm glad we've been able to do that. So uh, man, so here we are at the tail end. We finally hit number 12 here. Halloween Kills. Anything you want to add for the 2018?
I think I've my piece on 2018. There's not much on it. There's not much I've got to add to it. Just again, I love the fact that they brought Nick Castle back. I think it's a good sign of respect to the person who first really played him. I think it's a nice, nice little touch from him.
Okay, all right. So I will let you take the last one. Which, if we're following along here, should be no surprise where this one ranks now.
Well, Halloween Kills for me is at number 2. I love this film. Got one of my favourite scenes in the entire franchise. It's my favourite scene where he comes out and the mask is on fire and he just takes everybody out, man. That scene is fantastic. I love it. Not only that, I love the fact that they go back to 1978 and show you what happened. That scene gave me goosebumps. I have not had that in years. Seeing that scene and Loomis, the CGI thing, I believe it was CGI, was it?
It actually was not CGI. If you believe this or not, it was they just found somebody that looked like Pleasance. That's just a little bit of makeup and a little bit of makeup and a little bit of prosthetic, but no CGI there.
Now that,
Yep, no CGI there.
not know that shocked me as well. Did not know that, but that scene, to go back to that timeline and show you more of it was fantastic. And then opening scene with going back and showing you scene with the firefighters.
Yep.
So brutal, shot beautifully. I love how he comes out and he's just I forgot the weapon is, but he's just spinning it around and he just stands there and they're all looking at him like, oh fuck, we're dead. I absolutely adore Halloween Kills. I love this film so much. It gives me everything I want as a Halloween fan, as a Michael Myers fan. It's brutal. Michael is scary. Goes back to the original and shows you why. The only aspect that I'm like, hey, well, I'm confused here. I'm interested to see Halloween Ends because now the whole Halloween Evil Dies Tonight is sort of thrown down your throat. It's said over and over like Evil Dies Tonight. Yeah, okay, I'll get it. Bloke, that evil bloke that's supposed to be evil, that looks like the Penguin from Batman. Oh man, you can tell that ain't Michael Myers. Paul was a bit like, okay, but again, to add that gore effect was sick. I'll tell you why I'm interested in Halloween Ends. Much as I love this Halloween Kills, and I think it's obvious it's at number 2 for me, is the mask off and you can sort of see that he's old. So, yeah, he's still... To me, Michael Myers is still immortal. He went through shootings and everything and all this and that, and he's aged. So I want to see if they explain this more in Halloween Ends.
Well, they the ending of that movie has definitely piqued my interest. Because no one should have survived what he went through, and then the brutality at the end there was great. This movie would have ranked higher for me had it not been for one thing, which is why I have number 6. It would have ranked a lot higher for me. And this is where I think this is where cultural difference is going to come into play here. Because this movie was filmed in 2018. But for those that are aware, a year and a half ago in 2021, America saw one of its darker days on January 6th, where we had a bunch of essentially mob mentality kind of take over our capital and kind of bum rush a lot of our political institutions and really questioned a lot of things. And I know that was filmed, all that was filmed before that, but the movie was released after. So for me, the reason why it doesn't rank so high is the mob and political opinions aside. I'm not getting into that, but just the mob mentality and like the chant of evil dies tonight, and some of the chants that were going on in the quote unquote, I'll just call it January 6th. On January 6th, I had flashbacks of that, and that through no fault of its own. Like, that's not that movie's fault, because again, it was filmed before that. But that is kind of why I have the movie ranked at 6, is because of that. And the evil dies at night thing, I could really fucking do without. Like, that chant all the time, but I would rank it, if it wasn't for that, it would probably be, if I were to take that out, I would say it'd probably be 3 for me. Because I like the throwbacks, the callbacks to, uh, I mean, I like the Little John, Big John thing. I like the brutality, the firefighter scene, you know, was fantastic. I like the ending. I specifically like the final scene of that movie. Spoiler. So this is a fairly new movie, so I'm going to give everybody 10 seconds before I talk about it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You've been warned. All right. Karen dying in Judith's bedroom in the Myers house was awesome. Like, A, Karen's dead. Woohoo! But B, like, it's done in Judith's old room. Was really, really cool. Tommy Doyle's character, I like they brought Tommy back, and they really showed all the characters, even the nurse, Mary. What was her name? Mary Chambers. Even the nurse, like they brought them all back and kind of showed how that night 40 years ago has affected them, and then the throwback to Halloween 3, that where the kids are wearing the masks, like all that. Like I really loved it, and had the, you know, like I said, political opinions aside, had the insurrection not happened like right before this movie was released, I would probably have rated it differently. But PTSD for me, and you know, kind of at the time watching what I thought was the fall of our democracy versus kind of this mob mentality was still a little fresh, and that it bothered me, and I'll fully admit that I couldn't get past it.
Well, I honestly understand that. I mean, and to be honest, you know, number 6 is still pretty high. So for you, so I understand that fully where you're coming from. I get that. I can see why it affected your pick there, and I fully get that. And you know, from cultural differences as to play there, and you know, I'm sorry that had to happen as well. You know, I can understand that. So I think Michael Myers, I touched on this earlier. It's everything I want in a Michael Myers film. He's spooky again. He just sits. I'll tell you, one of my favourite scenes. It's so simple. Where he goes into the woman's house, the old ladies, and they're playing with that helicopter thing, and it just comes back in like, oh shit, what's going on? And then Michael Myers just comes in and smashes that light thing and sticks it straight through. The bloke's already dying, and he throws him onto the table, gets knives, and he's just sticking the knives in, just watching, tilting his head.
Yeah,
That's the Michael Myers that I love, because he's brutal, but yet he's so spooky. It's just like, what's going through your head? I love that aspect of it, and I've got to be honest, which is why it's at number 2 for me. Absolutely adore this movie. There's some aspect that I feel like The Evil Dies Tonight is thrown down your throat too.
oh, it is. Yeah, it is.
It's just like like every scene they get Evil Dies Tonight, like every scene. But going past that, they put so much into this for the die-hard Halloween fans. I believe. I think bringing you back to the original was brilliant. Showing you the survivors from the original, the babysitters, bringing back the nurse, which by the way is hilarious when she's got the gun and she's missing, and then Michael Myers just slams it into her throat. Fantastic, I love it. I love this film, which is why it's at number 2 for me. I adore this film, and again, coming to your, I understand why it's at number 6 for you, though. I fully get that.
And you know, and if you were to ask me, if we were to do this when the movie first came out, it would almost been at the bottom of the barrel. But I've grown to appreciate it a lot more. Like I'm able to put some of that like aside, and then so again, my friends, like my my IRL friends, they understand that like when this movie first came out, I hated it, and like in 2018 when the brick came out, like I hated, I couldn't get past the original timeline. Like they were just getting rid of everything, especially Halloween 2, which I loved, and like I was like, okay, well, Halloween 2 literally picks up like 37 seconds after the first one ends. Like what? Uh, and I couldn't get past that, but. So if you were to ask me when Halloween Kills came out, I'd almost at the bottom of the barrel. But and as time goes, I can see myself having it higher than 6 now, because it does throw back to the original. I mean, it does throw back on all the characters. I love the reference to Halloween 3. I love the brutality of it. I love I love almost everything about it except there's that fucking mob mentality, which just drives me nuts anyways. Like, I mean, even before all of that other shit. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
great film. I love Charles Cypher coming back as Sheriff Brackett. Like they brought everybody back who was like, alive. Like, I don't know if the kid that played Tommy Doyle couldn't play Tommy Doyle, so they got what's his name, Anthony Michael Hall or whatever. He's a little annoying in this movie, but um, that ending, that ending was nuts.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'm so intrigued for Halloween Ends. Like, kind of weird that it showed you an older Michael Myers, considering that it's meant to be supernatural. But then again, Jason's supernatural. I guess he grows older. Um, to see a more, because let's face it, Michael Myers is supernatural. What's happened to him? There's no human being that can survive it. So in Halloween Ends, I'd like to see it for start to show you like his skin decompose and everything, and show him as a natural being, like supernatural being sort of thing. I think I'd like that aspect. So I'm so intrigued with Halloween. It's coming up.
From
Where,
from my understanding, it's like it takes place what 4 years, 4 years after the original, or 4 years after it kills.
yeah, it's somewhere along the lines of that. So I'm just intrigued to see what they're going to go with it, and I found interesting and refreshing, even though I do love Laurie, Jamie Lee. She's not in it a lot. She's not in this movie a lot.
No, no.
She's a very interesting take, but the film still thrives, even with her in the background. So I don't know if Halloween Ends is going to get back to that storyline with her, or I don't know what route they're going to take with it. I'm so intrigued.
I mean,
And, uh,
because they have it should be nuts. Because I mean, now you've killed Laurie's daughter.
yeah,
And I mean, she was batshit crazy before. So like, I don't what they're gonna do with Halloween Ends. And if they're gonna, I mean, do any of us actually think this is gonna be the last Halloween movie? Uh, it might be in this timeline, you know. But
there's no way these films ever end, because always fans that want more. The studios know they can make money with it. Tell you what my dream is, which I think this is just my dream. Build it up at the end where you think the movie's over, and you imagine at Haddonfield, like, this is just my dream sequence, this is just a dream of mine. Put Jason versus Michael Myers, please. Imagine, like, at the end there's fog and everything, and you see Michael Myers in the distance, and then Jason just appears in the fog. Just, please. Please. I need it, man. We need Myers versus Jason. We've had Freddy v Jason. Myers versus Jason. Not a returns, please.
we would need, like I said, I think we would need some strong characters, like supporting characters, to be able to drive that because they're both don't talk. So we would need um, some good characters there. But I'd be on board with it.
Love it.
So you're right. I mean, you're all right. This is easy money for studios. So I mean, like, there's no shot this is the end of Michael Myers. Like,
There's no way. Yeah, I agree with you, Raven. I think if it is the end, it's the end of this timeline. 5 to 10 years, maybe earlier than that. I'm going to do it again because, face it, you look at horror these days in the UK, in the US, wherever you're from, everybody loves horror now. Whether you're a diehard fan or whether you're a newcomer, let's face it, horror films, horror genre is no longer underground. It's not underground anymore. Everybody loves horror. Back
Agreed.
in the day, you was looked at as a freak for loving horror films. These days, everybody loves it.
Agreed. The horror is fantastic, and it is going, and it's with a lot of critically acclaimed films. It just keeps going up, which is great. It means more people go see it, more money, more revenue. Means bigger productions. I mean, all win across the board.
It is because it gives actors are continuing to do their jobs. The companies make more money so they can make it look better. Films like Scream, I think we have to thank for that because they pulled in people that were horror fans.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, man, I've got to say this ranking's been fantastic. I don't know what do you want to do next? Do you want to leave it to you just want to go straight on to Texas Chainsaw?
Let's go ahead and do Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We've had him pick the first one we did. Then the last two our viewers have picked. So let's go Texas Chainsaw Massacre this one, and then they can pick the next one during that stream.
Ask as well. What did you guess? What would be my number 2?
I guess what would be your number 2? No, I did not expect Halloween Kills to be number 2. I honestly expected Halloween 2 to be number 2.
Okay.
Did not expect Halloween 4 to be a 3.
I love that movie.
Kind of what we talked about. I felt like Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills were going to rank high for you. Just kind of what we talked, like what you talked about on stream and stuff.
Yeah.
I think 8 on down's probably pretty fair. I know you're a Rob Zombie fan, so maybe I expected his remake to be a little higher, but no, yeah, I mean, other than 2 and 3 or Halloween Kills and Halloween 4 being ranked so high, I just
yeah. This is what I love about it, though, because it. You what? So all I'm gonna say is get ready for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm telling you.
I'm interested. I feel like I know what mine are off the rip.
Ain't near enough.
Um,
I'm gonna say I feel that, like Halloween, I believe we'll know each other's first and we'll know each other's last. I believe.
you should know what my last one is.
I think you'll probably know my last. I think we'll know the first and the last one. I think that's it.
That's probably fair. Shit, I gotta watch 2 more of those. There's 2 I haven't even seen yet. 2 or 1. Which one I haven't seen? Not the remake that just came out, obviously, but the one. Shit, which one was it? Let me look it up here.
I'm gonna rewatch all these again.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna watch I just rewatched Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I watched 2 not too long ago. So I'll probably start with 3 and go up. Watch 3D. Yeah, I haven't watched Leatherface. I haven't watched that one.
I watched Leatherface.
I need to watch that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, why didn't I watch that one? I think life just got in the way, and then I kind of forgot about it.
Happened with a few franchises.
Yeah, it's the only one I haven't seen, though,
Some
so I'll watch.
films. Well,
Yeah,
there's
I'll
a
watch
lot
it.
of them. Quite a few
Yeah,
Texas Chainsaw Massacre films, are there?
yeah. Looks like we got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total. 9. 1, 2, 3. There's the first one, 2, 3. Generations, Next Generations 4. The remake is 5. The beginning is 6. 3D 7. Leatherface is 8, and then the remake again is 9. So we got 9. Okay.
Forward to that.
Shit, I didn't realize there was that many.
There's quite a few.
Huh. Interesting.
That ranking's going to be very interesting.
I've been interested. I got yeah, like yeah. I've been very vocal about the remake, the one that just came out on Netflix. Probably too vocal on Twitter about it, so that'll be a that'll be a thing. Let me go ahead and put this tweet out. Here it is. Here are RavenEAP's and Spawn Voorhees' rankings for the Halloween film series. What do you all think? Alright, tweet. And then go to profile. Switch to RavenEAP. Retweet.
Enjoyed all our rankings so far.
What's
They've
that?
been, enjoyed all the rankings so far. I think they've been very good, man.
I love it. I have a blast.
Like I says, we've spoke about this before, but it's always great to see other people's opinions.
1000%. 1000%. It's always good to just talk shop, man. Like I said, like I feel like us doing this gets a bunch of scratches and itch that I have, man. Just to because like I used to work for Bloody Disgusting. I used to be like co-editor in chief there with Brad and everybody, uh,
Isn't that just?
and then used to do like another website with them called Freeze Dried Movies, which is now gone.
Okay.
But uh, I worked with Steve at Dread Central for a little bit, and then worked at Horror Society, which kind of covers indie horror. Um,
Okay.
and then I really wanted to like get back into it, uh, and this really scratches the itch so far, and I like it.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
been
it.
awesome. Fair play, man.
Yeah, I
That's
like it.
awesome that you've got to do that. Fair play.
Yeah, it was a blast, man. Like it was really fun. It sucks because like Brad was always like, hey, I'll take care of you, I'll take care of you, and then like then I thought that was never going to happen, so I left. And now I understand why he didn't because he was working on something which would have took care of us all. Because then he started Bloody Disgusting came out with the fucking VHS series, which is what he was working on at the time, and I couldn't hold on. I didn't realize what he was doing, and I left, and I'm a little sad about that, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I'll get you. But you've had that experience, man. That's brilliant. And don't forget Evil Dead the game we've got coming as well. I'll be doing
Yep,
a longer stream for that.
that comes out in 5 days, y'all. Comes out on Friday the 13th, by the way.
The perfect day.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm going to be playing the fuck out of that.
Should have Jason in there. We did have the Necronomicon in there. Jason Goes to Hell after all.
Right? Right? Man, oh, are you a Marvel guy? Did you watch any of the Marvel movies?
Like Venom. Big fan of Venom. The character, like, growing up, I was always a massive fan of Spider-Man, the animated series, so I've always loved Venom. X-Men are cool. Carnage, I like Carnage.
Well, before I end the recording here for all the horror fans, I went and saw Doctor Strange yesterday,
Okay.
which is directed by Sam Raimi, who obviously created The Evil Dead. Um, let me tell you, if you are a fan of The Evil Dead and you are a fan of Marvel movies, this movie is what a Marvel movie would look like if Sam Raimi directed it. Like it is,
And now you see, I've got to watch that.
uh, it is like I can't say anything, but yeah, it's fantastic. Go see it if you like Sam Raimi or if you like Doctor Strange or comic books, which horror being my love, comic books is my obsession. Like I was a comic book nerd, um, so I watching the comic book movies, the Marvel movies and the DC. I'm a DC fanboy more than I am Marvel, but still watching Marvel movies. It's been great.
To be honest, I'm more of a fan of DC as well.
Yeah, Joker. The Joker to me is the greatest fictional character ever created. So I mean, I love the character of the Joker. My car is, I have a Joker license plate. Joker, like my seat covers are purple. My steering wheel covers, like my seat covers are purple and
Fantastic.
black. My steering wheels, yeah, I got Joker stickers. Yeah, big Joker guy.
I have a few figures of the Joker. I have comic books of the Joker. I'm a massive Batman fan in general. I love Batman.
Yep.
More a fan of the. On the basis, I prefer the more darker version of Batman, like Tim Burton's. And I know Batman. That Batman was your favourite until the latest Batman, the Batman. The Penguin's also getting his own TV show, which is cool.
Yep.
I like the Penguin, but I've got to agree, I'm more of a DC fan than I am Marvel, but I still like Marvel. I enjoy it.
Yeah, if you like
I-
Sam Raimi and you like Doctor Strange or Marvel in general, this is a Sam Raimi movie that's in the Marvel universe.
Definitely give it a watch. And pretty soon, I'll start watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. And later on the 13th with Evil Dead, I'll definitely be on, man, because that's going to be a long ass stream.
Yeah, I'll work something out. See if I can take the day off or something. See if I can get on and because when I get off, like I work 11-8 Monday through Friday. I mean, I work from home, so I'm just sitting here. But um, obviously, I can't like stream or anything when I'm working. Uh, so I'll try to work something out.
Right, okay. It's been amazing as usual, mate, and I cannot wait to get to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre films.
Well, it's coming up. We're gonna hit it this Sunday, y'all. All right. Gonna be interesting. All
Awesome.
right, I'm gonna stop recording. All right, that's done. Probably gonna end that stream too. So hold on one second. If you want to add any, actually, if you add anything, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream right now because I'm gonna go hang out with my wife and my kid for Mother's Day, and then I'll probably jump back on at 11 p.m. my time to do a little Dead by Daylight stream. Um, I fully expect Spawn here to be sleeping, because that is like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock your time, 2, 11,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. Um, but I'll be on. If you want to add anything, like I said before, here let me go ahead and shout you out again. Go check out
Cheers,
Spawn.
Raven. I appreciate
Oh
it.
yeah, of course. Go check out my boy here. Plays Dead by Daylight. Super good Leatherface, which is annoying because I fucking hate Leatherface in that game. uh, and gets stalked by Sinfornia. Yep. And really good Dead by Daylight streamer. Very knowledgeable of the game. So definitely check him out. I would not, if I'm on, don't watch me, watch him because he's far better at it.
Raven, I appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I appreciate it. And like I say, streams will be going back to normal as well soon. There's going to be longer hours, so things are going back to normal soon. A lot longer hours, so it'll be better. And I'm looking forward to Evil Dead the game. I'm looking forward to I'm not going to say anything because there's people here that don't know, but Dead by Daylight got leaked. The new killer, the new survivor, and I'm very, very excited. I won't say nothing. If people want to get and check it out, they can. But it's been leaked. The killer looks interesting. I am interested. The killer sounds cool. So I'm interested to see what it's going to be like. By the way, the next chapter after this one has got leaked. Do you know about it?
I saw something from the Leaks by Deadlight page right before I went live because I was writing a tweet that I would go live. I didn't read it. I won't say anything either because we're still streaming. But if you know me, I think I should be a fan of it. So.
Yep. We definitely both are. So anyway, I'm going to. What you're going to get up to then? I'm going to do probably some chicken wraps. I'm pretty peckish.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna make. Wife's favorite food is nachos, so I'm gonna make some nachos for her.
Well, right, Raven, look after yourself.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy today. I hope, everybody's had a good time and enjoy time with your and be on streaming soon. Like I say, it'll be time again, and I'm doing longer sessions, so hopefully we'll be able to get some games in together then as well, because the hours are going to be long.
Do you know what day you're streaming this week? Do you know yet?
Probably more than likely, because I've had stuff to sort out. Probably the streams will start again properly on the 13th.
Okay.
Going 7 hours to 8 hours, probably longer. But Evil Dead comes out that day, so that's going to be a long stream. So I know I've missed a lot recently, but it's all worth it, and it's to put more time in, so it's all worth it.
Oh shit, you're on Xbox, aren't you? Evil Dead crossplay.
Evil Dead's crossplay.
And the good news is developers have officially confirmed that there will be full crossplay support in Evil Dead the game. Okay, cool.
So we'll still be able to play as well, which is cool. Yeah, and plus we get to choose whether you want to be killer or survive. Baddie or goodie in Evil Dead the game, so it looks cool.
I'm gonna have oh man, it's gonna be hard for me not to go to the dark side.
That's what I want. I feel it, man. Like, it's gonna be so good. So, and I can't wait. It's gonna be awesome. And again, I look forward to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I guess the only thing we have to worry about if it's crossplay, if we can do like comms or what. Like, I know Dead by Daylight's crossplay, but we can't do comms. So if we might have to do Discord or something, so that way we can talk. But yeah, other than that, I'm excited, man. Excited.
Same, man. I can't wait. And as always, Raven, it's been fantastic doing this with you.
Yes, sir. Always fun.
When I'm ever up, so I'm quite a late night bloomer when it comes to sleeping. But if I'm ever up, I always come into the chat when I can.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I definitely appreciate it. Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
You do a drink, something to eat. I'm starving, man.
Yes, sir. I'm going to do the same myself, man. Well, you enjoy your evening, and as always, this has been fun. And then for everybody who's tuned in, definitely appreciate it. I'm sorry I really wasn't reading chat because I was recording for videos, and I don't really want to do all that. But everybody stopped in and gave their opinions. Appreciate it. And then we will see you next Sunday for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. All right, guys.
See you in a bit, and Raven.
Yes, sir. I'll see you later, man.